Do you feel like your videos aren't getting the views they deserve? You refresh the YouTube analytics page. Again, only 13 views. You tell yourself it's the algorithm, but deep down you're scared. What if it's not the algorithm? What if it's you? In pretty much all cases, it's you. But what can you change? Is there even something you can change? Firstly, we'll focus on why blaming the platform is the worst possible thing you can do. Then we'll talk about how to actually make people click and watch your videos. And finally, we'll talk about how you can turn viewers into fans that don't just watch your content, but are in love with it. In this video, you'll often see me compare two very different YouTubers. One on the entertainment side, one on the edutainment side. One has only 6 videos, the other has 388. So whether your channel focuses on shorter entertainment videos, 20-minute tutorials, or anything in between, this should help you figure out why you're not getting the views you deserve. These two YouTubers have one thing in common. They both know how the YouTube's algorithm works, but it may be confusing seeing two YouTubers that have totally different strategies blowing up. If the algorithm works the same way, how can they both blow up? There are a few things they uncovered that a lot of people plainly just don't know or ignore. About 2 years ago, I started uploading videos to this channel. I didn't have a niche, and honestly, I wasn't even sure what type of content I wanted to make. In fact, one of my first videos got 38,000 views. There was quite a bit of luck involved. I just had an idea and thought it would do well, but soon I made the decision to make it private. Not because it was bad, even though it was, but because I realized this isn't the type of content I want to be making. In that decision, everything changed. There was one channel that made me see YouTube completely differently. This guy named Isaac. He somehow turned content strategy and educational content into something that felt like a movie. His tutorials didn't feel like tutorials. They felt like someone handing you a torch in the middle of a dark forest, showing you a path out. There are 2 questions he asked himself when he created his channel, and you need to ask yourself those same questions. What do I want from YouTube? Let's imagine you're getting in a car, hitting the gas, and hoping you end up somewhere good, but you have no map and no destination. You're just driving. Driving feels good sometimes, until you realize you've been driving in circles. You need to choose a destination before you ever turn the key. Is your goal some amount of money? Is it some amount of views or subscribers? And do you have a vision? Whatever it is, each video you make helps you get closer to that goal. Who am I creating content for? The moment you stop creating only for yourself and keep in mind that someone else is behind the screen watching your video, you'll see a change in how you create content. If you don't know your ideal viewer, here's how you can understand it better. Imagine you're trying to make a gift for someone, but you've never met that person. You don't know what they look like, you don't know what they do, you don't even know their name. How do you get it right? If you're new to YouTube, this is what you're trying to avoid. Don't post videos into the void and hope someone out there likes it. Instead, make videos that feel like a gift made just for them. Firstly, know who they are. Are they 80? Are they 50? Do they live in a small town? This is the surface level stuff. Secondly is know what they care about. What do they want from watching YouTube? Do they want to escape, to feel understood, to learn a new skill? And third, know how they act, because it doesn't matter who they are if you don't know what they do. Do they watch MrBeast, Ali Abdaal, Isaac vs Beluga? Are they watching shorts while brushing teeth, or do they binge watch long form in bed after work? YouTube's algorithm is obsessed with patterns, because if your video fits the viewer's watching pattern, it gets served. The moment you know 1, who your viewer is, and 2, what your goal is, YouTube becomes way easier to navigate. Okay, now let's talk about the stuff that will actually help you blow up. And we'll start with the TNT. You can know exactly who your audience is and exactly where you want your channel to go, but none of it matters if you don't know how to make people click. If they don't click, you get 0 views, no matter how much time you put in the video itself. You have to understand that there are many YouTubers fighting for that 1 viewer to click and watch their video. And if you don't make it good enough for people to pay attention, they'll click on the video next to yours. The job of the thumbnail is not only to be pretty, but to make people feel some emotion and make the viewers ask themselves tons of questions. All of that with less than a second of the viewer's time. In Isaac's case, the emotion may be curiosity, inspiration, and doubt. In Beluga's case, it may be curiosity, doubt, and amusement. The reason we have to start with the thumbnail is because that's the first thing people see. They don't see the end of the video first. They don't even see the first part of the video. They first see the TNT. Here are a few things that helped me figure out how to make a good TNT. So a few months back, I was feeling very stuck with this channel. I just removed my 38,000 views video. I was making videos that weren't getting many views. And the main reason is because I didn't understand basic human psychology. I noticed a pattern with some content that was trending on YouTube. Then I decided to test it and see if it worked for my channel. And it did. The video got 7 times more views than the channel's average. Here is what I found. I made my thumbnail using only 3 elements, because that's what everyone else was doing. Face, a few words, and a simple background. The viewer's brain should understand what's happening in 0.3 seconds. Remember, you're in a boxing match with the YouTubers next to you and you are competing for that one view. Make people feel an emotion. My content is geared towards small YouTubers, so I wanted to encapsulate that feeling we all had, which is thinking about giving up on our channel. I also started using the rule of thirds. Put the subject in the middle or on these lines. It's like gravity for the eyes. Faces help with making viewers feel something. The title itself works together with the thumbnail. Again, I adjusted the title to my niche and kept my title short. So here is a small checklist for your next video. But all of this doesn't matter if you don't understand the following concept. So before someone even clicks on your video, something happens in their brain. Their brain draws a line. The moment the viewer clicks, your job is to stay above it. If your content is better than they expected, they keep watching. But if it's worse than they expected, they leave and may never come back. This is good because it rewards good content and punishes bad content. If your channel has some traction but you don't seem to go anywhere, it's maybe not because your content is bad, but because you're not making people feel enough emotion. You're posting funny memes, not funny stories. You're making tutorials, not journeys. Every great video, whether it's about how to make viral shorts or making Discord skits, follows a structure. It's storytelling, and stories make things stick in our brain because of the way we are wired. Think about it. You've forgotten 90% of what you learned in school, but you still remember that one YouTube video you watched 2 years ago. There are 6 steps you can take to make your videos more impactful. Firstly, the hook. It's the one thing you need to spend a lot of time on after the TNT. Those first 5 seconds tell the viewer,
okay, this is intriguing, it confirms what I clicked on.
Ask a question, say something unexpected, grab their attention. Whether it's through fast-paced conversations with funny sound effects, or simply giving them context before diving in the rest of the video. Secondly, re-engagement. Every once in a while, give them a twist, a meme or a new visual that may not have seen coming. Thirdly, the setup. Either build some tension, making the viewers wonder what's going to happen at the end, or show the goal that you want to achieve by the end of the video. 3.5. Re-engagement again. As I said, from time to time, give them something spicy that they did not expect. Stories aren't something linear where you only have one emotion. It's a roller coaster that puts you through many emotions. Something that I sometimes use is using the but so technique. Instead of using the words and or then, use the words but that first creates a loop in the viewer's mind which makes him curious, then use the word so to close that loop. Fourth, the climax. Finally, every story has to have an end. Did you achieve the goal you set at the beginning of the video? Did the story end like they expected? Fifth, the goosh. You already gave them what they came for, but now you give them something extra. Another last joke or powerful ending. And finally, sixth, the wrap up. This is the end of the video. Here you can simply point to your next video so that they keep watching for longer. Remember, YouTube wants people to stay on the platform for as long as possible. Okay, now think about that one video you watched that had a really big impact on you. You liked it so much, you probably subscribed, watched 3 more hours of that channel and maybe left a comment. You slowly joined their community. To explain why this is so important and how you can build one yourself, here are 7 principles to differentiate yourself from people in your niche. Again, I'll give examples of how Beluga and Isaac also do this. Now let's imagine this for a second. You start watching your YouTube channel, and after a few videos you don't just like their content, you feel like you're a part of something. You feel like there's a message, a direction, maybe even a belief behind what they're doing. This is what I believe separates creators like Isaac and Beluga from the rest. The creation story is where it all began, and more importantly, why it began. There must be a reason why you create content, why you started your YouTube channel. Share it with your audience because that adds an extra layer. But once people know where you came from, they want to know. This is an invisible thread that connects all your videos together. It's what your audience starts to believe in because you believe in it first. It's your ongoing mission. These are the visual cues that remind people where they are. If you walk into a Nike store, people don't have to tell you you're in one. For Isaac, it's his character. For Beluga, it's his cat character. Over time, these symbols become anchors. They make your content feel familiar. Create a character or a visual effect that is unique to your channel. This is how you operate. It's the experience people expect from you and come back for. It may be quick cuts with funny music and sound effects that make people go through a roller coaster of emotions, or a combination of fancy editing, music, and a plot twist at the end. Just think of how you can differentiate yourself from people in your niche. What could make people come back? Make them feel something they don't get from any other channel. Every strong community has its own set of words, inside jokes, or phrases that only they understand. These words create a feeling of belonging. is the difference between watching from the outside and being in on it. Isaac's niche is content creation. Other than the usual language we know as content creators like thumbnails, CTR, AVG, he has some funny jokes. He also uses AI to sometimes make funny noises.
See?
Beluga uses text that has very simple words, sometimes emojis through text. Here, inside jokes are very powerful. Every character has a personality and a way of talking. I mean typing. You can use specific words that people in your niche use, but you should also add your own inside jokes that remind people they're watching your video, not somebody else's. This next one may sound scary and may be counterintuitive, but you need haters. These are the people who don't get it and maybe even hate your content. Now, I haven't done enough research to find a comment that's hating on these two guys, but the reason why is because they created a community so strong by having the other 6 principles set in place that the haters are not even seen, or when they are chased away by fans. Every community needs a leader. In most cases, it's you. In Isaac's case, it's him through his AI-made character. In Beluga's case, it's him, but with a slight twist. Sometimes you have to think creatively. He believes his community is the most important. So recently, he decided to put his viewers on a pedestal. He let the viewers take the lead by letting them edit his presentation, sending them to YouTube videos, or giving them his Netflix password, then putting it in a video. By doing this, he gets comments like these. Whether you're the leader or you're letting your community take the lead, what matters most is that people feel like they're part of something. At one point while reading this book, the author scared me a little bit because he used the B word. It's not the word you're thinking about. He said every channel that earns money on YouTube is a business, even if it doesn't look like one yet. I always had a negative connotation about this word, because I don't want to build a business. I just want to make videos, share my experiences, and make people inspired enough to create their own content. But if you want to be serious about YouTube, you have to ask yourself, how are you going to make money? In the beginning, sure, it may not matter as much because you're a bit unsure about what even the next video is going to be. Unless you only want to make videos for a hobby, you have to know the ways you can get paid. Sure, you can just get monetized and hope to get some AdSense. But if you're serious about YouTube, you must think further. Here are the examples of Beluga and Isaac. Sure, they both earn money from AdSense, but they both do 2 different things to earn even more. Beluga has a merch site, which is straightforward. 3 products, a t-shirt, a mousepad, and a hoodie. A lot of entertainment channels have merch sites. Unless you want to create the new best chocolate, this is a good start. Isaac, on the other hand, is getting paid by linking useful programs he uses. He uses an affiliate link where he gets a commission on people buying that product. The point here is that YouTube AdSense is only the beginning. If you want to go full-time, you have to think about the future of your business. YouTube success doesn't come by luck. Refine your content, then repeat over and over again. YouTube success isn't linear, it's exponential. It may take years before something works, but when it does, you'll feel it. Okay, remember what I told you at the beginning of this video? You refresh the YouTube analytics page. Again, only 13 views. When it's quiet and no one's watching, it's easy to forget why you started. But as long as you keep refining your content, you could be just one video away from everything changing.